Hey guys, I'm Joe, head baker here at Carlo's Bakery. This is my beautiful wife, Grace.
Hi guys, it's Grace.
So today we're gonna make tiramisu, and we're gonna do it in a couple parts. We're actually gonna make the Ladyfingers like we used to. The cool thing about the Ladyfinger thing is that you can actually just make this as your own dessert. The whole thing is really like a clean palette where you can flavor your Ladyfingers with anything that you want to flavor. You can also, I'm gonna give you some tips on how to kind of spice up your tiramisu.
Right, and you know what tiramisu is? The Italian pick-me-up. Okay, mascarpone cheese, Italian liqueur, espresso coffee. It just says yummy in your mouth.
But we're gonna do a couple different versions of it that I kind of came up with.
I like the Italian version.
We're gonna do the Italian version. I didn't say we weren't gonna do the Italian version.
None of the other funky liquors.
So this is for the Ladyfinger. So this isn't a. I have two mixers here just to make this go faster. But at home you can do this with one mixer, and it's going to be a little bit longer. But this is a really neat thing. It's not over your head difficult-wise, but it's something cool that you can make at home. So,
is this whole eggs?
These are egg yolks.
Oh, just the yolk.
Just the yolk.
Not the white.
Just the yolks.
Okay, so egg yolks.
You could check the recipe out in the information section here. So what I did is I had whole eggs and I separated the whites and the yolks. And for this works out perfectly because we're going to use yolks for this and we're going to use whites for the other half. So don't throw anything away.
No waste.
No waste.
I used to do that for my dad back in the day. Separate the eggs. I was a really good egg cracker.
I'm sure you were.
So you know.
Yolks and sugar.
Is that regular sugar?
Regular granulated sugar. Regular granulated sugar.
There are different kinds of sugar too.
So we want to get this going, and really we want to get this as light as possible. So we're going to whip this up and gradually build our speed.
My father used to, when I would ask him questions and he'd be by the mixer and he didn't like what I was saying, he would do that. Put it higher. You know that trick.
This will get nice and light, and you want volume out of this, so the more volume, the better.
Whip it. Whip it good.
If I was doing this home, and I only had the one bowl, I would mix the egg yolks and the sugar first, so this way I could take it out, put it on the side, wash my bowl really good, because egg whites can be real temperamental if there's a little bit of, the bowl isn't clean and you want to get nice stiff peaks, especially for bagging out the Ladyfinger.
Those are whipping up nice.
So you can see that's nice and light and thick. All right, so they look pretty good.
I'm a traditional kind of
We're
person.
going to turn this off and we're going to start our egg whites. Okay, let's get the egg whites going. Put our egg whites in here.
We got another one of these little handy dandy whisks.
I like to start my mixer and add the sugar slowly. We got this going, and then we're eventually going to
speed.
No, we're going to kick up the speed.
Oh, okay.
We're going to kick up the speed.
See how observant I am?
As we do this, we're going to fold some flour into our egg yolks here. So we're going to sift our flour, use a piece of parchment. You just want to make sure there's no lumps in your flour. Shake.
Woo!
Keep it on the paper.
On the paper. Woo!
You want to keep an eye on your yolk, on your egg whites. You want to make sure that...
Am I allowed to put my hand in and get the rest?
Sure. You want to make sure your egg whites, if you over whip them, the peaks will flop. So you want to keep an eye on them. You can chill your bowl. A lot of people like to chill their egg whites in a bowl beforehand.
My dad used to chill.
So we're going to fold in this is some pastry flour. This is going to thicken up our mix.
All right, ready? Stir. Tell me when.
Go ahead. Fold, not fold.
What's fold?
Fold.
Like this?
Yep.
Fold. Fold. I'm a good folder. I'm a good folder.
Let me see.
You don't trust me.
Time is of the essence. We can also just throw this right into our egg whites and fold it again. But what I like to do is at least start in the beginning.
So now what are you going to put this in, a tray or individual cups?
Well, this is going to be just the Ladyfingers right now. And then I'm going to show a couple different ideas that I like with tiramisu. So first things first. Let's try not to make too much of a mess. So nice low speed. Again, trying not to break down our stiff peaks. Not going to mix this all the way. Going to mix it enough to where it's kind of in, but I still want to be able to fold it.
Get it all on the side over there.
Again, if you're at home and you're doing this and you have one mixer, you just break it up. Your egg whites aren't going to fall that much on you. All right, so now we inflated everything again. By turning the whip up, we're adding air back into the mixture. So now this is going to give us something that's nice and fluffy. Now, If you make it too fluffy, you add too much air to it, you take the chance of it being very fragile and it breaking down. And that's not what we want. So we're gonna grab the rest of this like we did before with folding it in. That's kind of how I see how it's still kind of airy and yet it's still got that thickness to it. So we're gonna take everything else, we're just gonna give it a fold. Grab the bottom, bring it to the top.
And see how creamy that looks? Look at the consistency.
So now, if I mess with it too much, she's gonna start breaking down on us. So Grace is gonna get the bag.
Where is it?
Behind us with the scissor. This is important. So
I get the important part.
I like to use a number 6 tip for people who are well versed. This is a Wilton number 6 tip for bagging out. So here I got a 24-inch disposal bag. These are really great to have. Grace is gonna spray around the corners of our pan. This is just to keep our parchment down, because if you're using convection, your paper's gonna get blown over the top of your cookies.
Cooking glue.
If you don't use convection, if you're not baking with convection, you don't really need to do this. It also makes it easier when you're baking out. If you're baking convection at home, you wanna drop your temperature about 25 degrees. So if something you were gonna bake at 350 and you're gonna bake convection, bake at 325.
I'm fast.
Because that dry air is really gonna make a difference.
I like a regular oven. All right, go.
So now depending, when you get good at these are gonna spread on you. So our purpose is for tiramisu. So our shape isn't that crazy. When you bag out, you wanna make sure that they're as close to the same size as possible so they bake evenly.
A little small.
When you bag, you want to cut at the end.
Go up.
Cut at the end. Once these get out on a pan, they're gonna, if anything, they're gonna flatten out.
And you get a lot of ladyfingers from just that, amount of batter.
Little tip when you're filling your bags, squeeze your tip down. This way, as the mix gets soft, it doesn't run out on you. So,
want me to hold that?
well, we may be able to pour because it's such a small batch, which will make life easier.
Want me to scoop it in?
No, we're good. Whether you're gonna make these for your own dessert or you're gonna use them for tiramisu, you definitely want to put the sugar.
Before you bake.
Whether you flavor them or not.
Before you bake?
Yes, before you bake.
Ah, a lot.
So you want a lot of sugar. Cookies normally are baked at a higher temperature.
I'd put a little more right here.
Well, that's gonna suck it up. So we're gonna go right into the ovens with these. So this is a smaller oven than we normally use in the bakery, but this is convection. This is what we actually use in our stores. So if you put your oven on convection setting at home, we're gonna get the same type of thing here. So normally I would bake these at 400 in a conventional oven. I'm gonna bake this at 375. All right?
25 degrees less.
So we're gonna throw these in. We're gonna throw these in for about 7 minutes.
And it's good that
They bake fast.
Wait, that you put it in the middle because it circulates, right?
Yes. At home you want to be in your middle shelf. This way the air circulates around it. So I want to get these in the oven because I want to get going with the tiramisu mix.
7 minutes.
7 minutes. Got our timer set.
You looking at you on the clock?
Beep beep.
All right.
We check it out. Here, our time went off, and they do actually look really good. They pop nice, and they got a nice golden color to them. If I'm using these strictly for tiramisu, I may want to bake them a little bit longer just to dry them out. If I'm using these as like a dessert, I want them to be a little bit more on the chewy side, so I'll bake them a little bit less.
Right.
Good way to test is get into your oven. You could see if they come off the paper, how dry they are. So they're still a little moist. So I'm gonna leave them in a little bit because I'm gonna soak them.
Like a minute, not much.
I'm gonna leave them in for 2 minutes because Grace said 1 minute.
A minute and a half, compromise. All right, tick-tock.
I want them dry, so there we go. What do you think?
Beautiful.
See how they
Look.
stood up nice?
Beautiful ladyfingers.
So we need these to cool, and then we're gonna start assembling the
All right,
tiramisu.
let's go put them down.
it is.
Look at that ladyfinger, how light and fluffy.
They're good.
I know you like the ladyfinger part. I like it all. Wow.
Good stuff.
So why don't you guys click over here if you want to see more of our videos.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave us the comments below. Tell us what you think and tell us what you want us to make next.
Yeah, I could do a little cooking.
Tell us what you want us to make next.